Tzu Chang said, "The knight that stakes his life when he sees danger, who in sight of gain thinks of right, and whose thoughts are reverent at worship and sad when he is in mourning, will do." Tzu Xia said, "Goodness clutched too narrowly. A belief in the way which is not honest, can they be said to be or said not to be?" The disciples of Tzu Xia asked Tzu Chang whom we should choose as our companions. Tzu Chang said, "What does Tzu Xia say?" They answered, "Tzu Xia says, if the men be well for thee, go with them. If they be not well, push them off." Tzu Chang said, "This is not the same as what I had heard. A gentleman honors worth and bears with the many. He applauds goodness and pities weakness. If I were a man of great worth, what could I not bear with in others? If I am without worth, men will push me off. Why should I push other men off?" Tzu Xia said, "Though there must be things worth seeing along small ways, a gentleman does not follow them, for fear of being left at last in the mire." Tzu Xia said, "He that each day remembers his failings, and each month forgets nothing, one may be said to love learning indeed." Tzu Xia said, "By wide learning and singleness of will, by keen questions and home thinking we reach love." Tzu Xia said, "To master the 100 trades, apprentices work in a shop. By learning, a gentleman finds his way." Tzu Xia said, "The small man must always gloss his faults." Tzu Xia said, "A gentleman changes thrice. Looking up to him, he seems stern. As we draw near, he warms, but his speech, when we hear it, is sharp." Tzu Xia said, "Until they trust him, a gentleman lays no burdens on his people. If they do not trust him, they will think it cruel. Until they trust him, he does not chide them. Unless they trust him, it will seem fault-finding." Tzu Xia said, "If we keep within the bounds of honor, we can step to and fro through propriety." Tzu Yu said, "The disciples, the little sons of Tzu Xia, can sprinkle and sweep, attend and answer, come in and go out. But what can come of twigs without roots?" When Tzu Xia heard this, he said, "Yen Yu is wrong. If we teach one thing in the way of a gentleman first, shall we tire before reaching the next? Thus plants and trees differ in size. Should the way of a gentleman bewilder him? To learn it, first and last, none but the holy are fit." Footnote 173, Tzu Yu. Tzu Xia said, "A servant of the crown should give his spare strength to learning. With his spare strength, a scholar should serve the crown." Tzu Yu said, "Mourning should stretch to grief and stop there." Tzu Yu said, "Our friend Chang can do hard things, but love is not yet his." Footnote 174, Tzu Chang. Chang Tzu said, "Chang is so spacious, so lordly, that at his side it is hard to do what love bids." Chang Tzu said, "I have heard the master say man never shows what is in him unless it be in mourning those dear to him." Chang Tzu said, "I have heard the master say, in all else we may be as good a son as Meng Chuang, but in not changing his father's ministers or his father's rule, he is hard to match." The Meng made Yang Fu chief knight, who spake to Cheng Tzu about it. Cheng Tzu said, "Those above have lost their way, the people have long been astray. When thou dost get at the truth, be moved to pity, not puffed with joy." Footnote 175, the chief of the Meng clan, powerful in Lu. Footnote 176, a disciple of Cheng Tzu. Footnote 177, or criminal judge. Tzu Kung said, "Cho was not so very wicked. Thus a gentleman hates to live in a hollow, down into which runs all that is foul below heaven." Footnote 178, the tyrant that ended the Yin dynasty. Tzu Kung said, "A gentleman's faults are like the eating of sun or moon. All men see them, and when he mends, all men look up to him." Footnote 179, an eclipse. Kung Sun Chao of Wei asked Tzu Kung, "From whom did Cheng Ni learn?" Tzu Kung said, "The way of Wen and Wu has not fallen into ruin. It lives in men, the big in big men, the small in small men. In none of them is the way of Wen and Wu missing. How should the master not learn it? What need had he for a set teacher?" Footnote 180, Confucius. Footnote 181, see Introduction. In talk with the great men of the court, Shu Sun Wushu said, "Tzu Kung is worthier than Cheng Ni." Tzu Fu Ching Po told this to Tzu Kung. Tzu Kung said, "This is like the palace wall. My wall reaches to the shoulder. Peeping over you see the good home within. The master's wall is several fathoms high. No one can see the beauty of the ancestral temple and the wealth of its 100 officers unless he gets in by the gate. And if only a few men find the gate, may not my lord have spoken the truth? Footnote 182, head of the Meng clan. Shusun Wushu cried down Chengni. Tsukung said, "It is labor lost. Chengni cannot be cried down. The greatness of other men is a hummock over which we can still leap. Chengni is the sun or moon, which no one can overleap. Though the man were willing to kill himself, how could he hurt the sun or moon? That he doesn't know his own measure would only be seen the better." Chen Tsuchin said to Tsukung, "Ye humble yourself, sir. In what is Chengni your better?" Tsukung said, "By one word a gentleman shows wisdom, by one word want of wisdom. Words must not be lightly spoken. No one can come up to the master, as heaven is not to be climbed by steps. If the master had power in a kingdom or a clan, the saying would come true. What he sets up stands. He shows the way and men go it. He brings peace and they come. He stirs them and they are at one. Honored in life, he is mourned when dead. Who can come up to him?" Footnote 183, a disciple of Tsukung. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more excellent content.